Hi, this is Michael at TV Radio 1972, and today I am reviewing the YCICIK W-913 AM/FM shortwave portable radio. You can buy these for around $16 on Temu. Watch out for sales because sometimes they sell at a lower price. I bought it on sale for around $10 plus tax and shipping back in September. Now, this radio is also sold as a Prudence J711 on Amazon for under $15. Also, watch out for sales at Amazon in case you get a lower price. So, the reason why I bought it on Temu is because of the color, which is yellow. Now, it came in this plain old box. Plain old white box, that's it, with a sticker on top. And then it came with these very decent looking earbuds. And USB to Type-C charging cable because this radio runs on both AA batteries as well as an internal lithium battery. And it has a switch in which you can operate either way. And the user manual, just one long sheet of paper. But you can pause and look at all that. Pretty simple to operate. The product specifications as well, and how to charge it. And that is it for that. Now, the box didn't say the model number, and I'll tell you how I know it was a W-913. Because of a package that I got from Temu. So I'll show you that too. W-913 yellow, even though it's more of a yellow-orange. Next, I'll give you size comparisons. First, the XH Data D219, which they came out with a new version of it, which is universally stepped at 9K and 10K. This one is a 10K only version. I'll probably just keep this one. And then the Sanji DT400, which I also like to compare sizes with. This is kind of my go-to radio usually to compare the sizes, although I'll use other radios as well. And that's it for that. I'm going to give you the dimensions. 4 5/8 of an inch in length, 2 7/8 of an inch in height, and 1 1/8 inch in depth. It has a 16.5 inch antenna and a 2-inch speaker, which I approximately measured it based on the speaker grill. So I'd have to say it's around 2 inches. Now on the radio itself, it has the logo right here, the speaker grill, a tuning dial with scale right up here, and then it has a white tuning indicator for AM and FM and a silver one for shortwave. You have your band selector switch, which I think I better switch it to FM. But it has 1 through 7. It also has this lower print here. And it's 7 shortwave bands. And then on this side, you have your tuning wheel, which not too rough. It's okay on the hands. Not bad, actually. Now, it has this backwards tuning. You go down to go up and up to go down. So, yeah, it has that backwards tuning. It has this on-off volume switch. Got it right there. And then your headphone jack. Now, I don't know how clear it's coming out. It's probably a little blurred. Anyhow, I'll give you the headphone experience. It has low-level hiss, mono both ears. Sounds good on FM and decent on AM and shortwave. And then on the back of it, you have this lowered printing here. If I shine it towards the light, you'll be able to read it. Tuning, volume, headphones, right here. You have a couple of vented areas as well. And then you have this decently made kickstand. It's more sturdy than the Quotison DX286. It's actually a better kickstand. And then 5 volts in. That is your Type-C charging jack. And then you have both your alkaline and lithium battery switch, which is inside. This uncaptured battery door. And here it is. Here's the switch right here. I have it on lithium battery right now, but you can switch it to the left for alkaline batteries. Now, I'll show you the diagram here. It operates on 2 AA batteries. The batteries are positives to the left. Both batteries. So I'll close that up. And then a little screw here. Oh, and then your antenna as well, which is 16.5 inches and swivels all the way. So that way you can get reception. It's especially good for FM. And if you're far enough away from medium wave stations on shortwave, I'll get to that later. And I'll hold this printing to light just to see. Portable radio, dual powered supply mode. The lithium battery is 3.7 volts, 1200 milliamp hours, and the backup being 2 AA batteries and some FCC logos. And then a little place for your lanyard. If you want to carry around the radio. And then, what else? And then, nothing on the top other than the antenna. And then, just 2 little feet in the bottom to stand the radio. So, what I'm going to do next is do some FM tuning. And I'll show you the FM reception. I kind of spoiled already how I say it's good for FM, so. But I haven't given you the reception report yet because I want to go through the FM band first. So, let's see. We're at FM. Now, unfortunately, it's 100 kilohertz steps, so that means you're not going to get 87.75 that well. It sounds a little distorted. That's 87.75 megahertz WNYZLD, which is the audio TV channel 6, which airs Korean programming. So, for those of you who want to know about 87.75, yeah, it's going to sound distorted.
We've got some company our way, and we'll have that story coming up in just a moment. Jesus Christ. Efforts.
Yeah, I mean, it makes for a very complex environment to be operating, and you know, there are many factors driving the conflict.
WNYC-FM, New York City, that is our local NPR station on FM.
Conflict, it creates a very challenging situation.
No, señora. Una hermana pide, Señor mío, por su sobrina, por
Delivery.
Controversia.
Y ahora mismo la llamada número 9. Trying to
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and you know, and other recent
exit kit, absolutely.
About it, would you like to see daylight savings time? Meteorologist Dan Zara.
Clinton 51, Jackson 51, Millville 54, fast traffic, instant weather every 15 minutes on New Jersey 101.5.
That's WKXW, Trenton, New Jersey. That's over 50 miles away from me. It's receiving it well.
Yeah, Route 46 and Route 130, Chrysler.
You're going to be the voice of reason here.
And here's why. This time...
It's Mike Adam. I would just add, you can't force it, you can't make it.
Are considerate.
Heroes for our volunteer advocates.
And that is it for FM, and it did real well. As a matter of fact, I have a reception report in my area, which is in the northeastern part of New Jersey. By the way, it's 3:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from the northeastern part of New Jersey, 5 hours later UTC. So we're in that critical hours time for AM reception. But as for the FM, 55 stations, 42 okay to good, and 13 weak signals. That's very good for my area. Now, all my stations are 0.4 megahertz apart, so you're not going to get, like, the immediate adjacent channels. At least I didn't. So, that's maybe where the selectivity could be. But in my area, 55 stations is very good. Now, I'm going to go to AM next, so I'll put the antenna down temporarily for the AM.
More expensive. Universal line policies are comparatively less expensive, but whole line policies are more guaranteed. So universal line policies come under 3-4 categories.
That is WBWD 540. That's from Islip, New York. That's over 50 miles away at 10,000 watts during the day. It lowers its power at night, I believe, to 220 watts. But it's coming real well on this radio.
So you can say that my policy is 1%.
Gold here with the corpse of
the credit card debt for more than 5
aid.
Just as bad if they ever walk through the door or at home, or even for my grandkids now.
That is WABC New York City, although the transmitter is in Lodi, New Jersey, which is less than 5 miles from me, but it's coming in real well here. Comes in so well, I have trouble getting 740 during the day, which is WNYH from Long Island. I actually have trouble getting on this radio because of that selectivity, so yeah, on AM especially, the selectivity holds it back a bit.
And when you talk to diplomats privately from these Western countries...
WNYC 820 AM New York City, that is our NPR station on the AM.
Like the UAE, when at home they're also dependent.
The fourth quarter. Again, we're playing fantasy land because in all likelihood it's not going to happen.
Talk to...
I think I heard reported that...
I mean, this is WMTR, Morristown, New Jersey, Classic Oldies 1250, and it's coming in real well here. Sounds very good on it.
For the real deal. Jesus is real.
I don't know what that is. That might be 1500. Let me take a look at that. Is WFEDRA coming in? Because 1500 does not usually do political talk this early. It is. That's either WGHT, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, or WFED, Washington, D.C., but it's probably WGHT. They usually don't do talk, they usually do music, so I don't know what that's about. That is WJDM 1530 Mineola, New York. That's about 30 miles away at 10,000 watts during the day, so coming in pretty good.
The animated film is set to be released next year.
15 to 20 knots, diminishing to 10 to 15 knots after midnight. Seas 2 to 3 feet.
W398. Oh no. WQBX 398 from Paterson, New Jersey. It's simulcast KW035. That's at 1640 a.m.
급 리조트, 스크린 제임스 몬테고베이 리조트, 오션뷰 룸에서
Might be getting 1700, I'm not sure. That might... Looks like it was trying to get 1700 WRCR Haber Store, New York, which currently simulcasts WABC, but I didn't hear anything. But, you know, it's fine during the day, but, the flaw with this is that it's mainly good on strong signals, which is good if you want your local stations, but if you try to DX with it, forget it. As a matter of fact, my reception report during the day is 28 stations, 26 okay to good, and only 2 weak signals, and, yep, 1500, 1530 were basically the ones that are weak, although I think I was able to get 1700, I forgot. But, so 2 or 3 weak signals, and that's it during the day. And then at night, I got 58 stations, 41 okay to good, and 17 weak signals, and that's because of that selectivity. Now, I was able to get Zoom Array on 740. That wasn't a problem if the signal was strong enough. But this AM receiver, mainly good for local and strong stations. You could get your distant stations at night if the station is strong enough. If it's strong enough, you should be able to get them. So, I'll call the performance, I'll call it decent. I'll call it a decent AM performance, despite not getting a lot of stations. Now, tune to the shortwave next. Now, I'm just going to zip up the lower frequencies because you're not going to get the lower frequencies at this time. But here's the problem with shortwave, and it's a problem with many of these cheap shortwave radios. There's a lot of medium wave breakthrough on this when you're close to strong local stations, and especially in my case WFME 1560, which is just 3 miles away from me. But if I put my finger on it, it attenuates some of it. See all that breakthrough? Shortwave 2. Even with my finger on it, a lot of these lower frequencies Yeah, I think this is actually a shortwave station. I think we're on band 4. Gets a little better up here. Maybe not. See? When I don't touch it, when I touch it, gets a little better. Radio Marti.
A raíz de la catástrofe, la Cancillería estadounidense publicó una declaración oficial del secretario de Estado, Marco Rubio.
Now I'm using only the telescopic antenna. We're at 6, I think. Alright, that's a shortwave station. I heard stuff on 17 earlier today. Yeah, so, yeah, not very good on shortwave. It's sensitive, but these cheap shortwave radios are not usually good for shortwave when you live near medium wave stations. I mean, you heard it. You heard WFME 1560 all over. WABC used to have been the problem, but now it's WFME ever since they moved their transmitter to Clifton, New Jersey. It's been a problem. So, if you are farther away from those medium wave stations, expect good shortwave for strong and domestic signaled stations. And like I said, medium wave overload on it. So, yeah, pretty bad there. Now, as far as my final thoughts are concerned, I'll give you the good. The build quality is good, especially the kickstand. It has a readable tuning display. Good audio except when on high or max volume. So if you're on maximum volume, it's going to sound bad. But even on high volume, at least on AM and shortwave, it doesn't get irritating. So as long as you don't put it on max volume, you should have good audio. It's also sensitive on local and strong signaled stations. Now, my mixed opinion is the lowered lettering. Well, at least it makes it readable, but maybe a regular printed one would have been better. But the lowered lettering, especially on the back, I'll give you an example right here. It's not bad if you hold it to a light, so it's not too bad. That's why I have more of a mixed opinion on that. That's not necessarily a bad thing about it. And the band coverage. I'll give you... Now, FM and AM, they're good, 87 to 108 megahertz, AM 520 to 1730. Now, I don't know if the AM is 10K stepping or the universally stepped one, because I noticed 520 is 1730, so it could be universally stepped, it could be 10K stepped, I don't know. Shortwave coverage is acceptable. It starts at 5.5 to 18 megahertz, but I would have preferred it to go down to around 4.75 because, you can get your WWCR there and all that. And one other little trick, because there's a shortwave trick to this. If you go between AM and shortwave 1 on this, because I think Todderbert with his prunus demonstrated it, there's an extra band, and around, I'll say this area around the 6.1 to 6.3 area, or, that 1150 to 1480 area. I was able to get CHU. I tried that, and I was able to get that, but I've tried other in-between bands, and it just moved the existing stations down. So there is that little hidden band between AM and 1. If you can do the trick, you can probably get CHU around this area. But that's really the only hidden band I was able to find on this. And the bad selectivity, especially on AM, it is pretty bad. It'll wipe out the weaker stations. And medium wave overload on shortwave bands. That's another bad thing if you are close to strong medium wave stations. So, which makes the shortwave not very good on this receiver, at least where I am at. But those are my final thoughts. Would I recommend this? I'd say yes. If you want just strong local stations, they come in very good. And, FM's very good too. So I recommend it for FM and your local FM and AM stations, definitely. I would recommend it. I would not recommend it as a shortwave receiver unless you're far enough away from those medium wave stations. Maybe if you're more in a suburban to rural area, and probably more like a rural area, you might be able to get away with some shortwave there. But otherwise, for shortwave, I wouldn't recommend it. But as an overall receiver, I would recommend it, especially if you are more focused on AM and FM listening. So I hope you liked this review. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notifications to be informed on radio reviews, DXing, and other radio related stuff. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good week, everyone. Stay safe and God bless. Bye-bye.